Okay, so this is video 2 of making our character. In the last lesson we got as far as making the head and the eyes. So today I think we'll do the ears, the nose and the eyebrows. So there are different ways of doing this, but I think we're going to try using polygons, just single faces for most of this. So let's do the ears first. So let's go to, make sure you're not clicked on anything and you're in object mode. Let's add a mesh. Let's just add a plane. And this is going to be for the ear. I've brought it out in front so that we can see it. I'm going to press RX90. That just rotates the plane around this red axis 90 degrees to get vertical. I'm then going to S to scale. And I'm going to press 1 to get into my front view, and I'm going to move the polygon here and scale it probably to about here. Now I'm just gonna probably make it stick into the head a little bit so it's just the right size. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to press Tab to get into edit mode and 2 to go into edge mode, and I'm going to extrude this up, and I can move it while I'm extruding it, and I'm just gonna sort of extrude it along the shape of that ear, and I'm going to extrude it again and just curve it around. Just imagine it's perhaps there. Do the same on the bottom and probably again and again. And these points here, I'm just going to select them. I'm going back into vertex mode with 1. I'm going to press B and I'm just going to drag a box around them, and I'm going to press S, X, 0. And what that will do is it will scale them all by 0 and put them all in a line. Very handy to know. And then I can just move them. So I'm probably going to leave that as the ear, but what I'm going to do then is I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier. Oh no, I'm not actually. I've missed a step. We need to make it solid first. So with the ear selected, just select the whole thing and then extrude it with E, or use the extrude tool and extrude it back to give yourself a bit of a thickness to it. Probably make it thicker than you think, because then what we're going to do is we're going to add a modifier. So on this blue wrench we're going to add the subdivision surface modifier. I'm probably going to put 2 subdivisions on this. It doesn't need to be super detailed, and I'm in object mode, so I can move that object back. Now just thinking about your head and where your ears are, this is completely up to you where you put it. I'm going to put it mine about there. Make sure it's sort of sunk in. If you need to scale it, you can scale it out a bit, however you want to do it. Perhaps look at your front view with 1 and your X-ray, and you can, if you want to edit the shape of your ear, you know, you can then start pulling around these points. Make sure you click on, you can either click on the faces here and start pulling them around. That would probably be the best way, or the edges to give it a bit of shape. Don't click on these vertices, because if you move these it won't move the ones at the back, unless you want to create a bit of rounded shape to it, which you might want to. For now I'm not going to worry anymore about the ears. I'm probably just going to say okay, that's done. If you want to change the shape a little bit, you can. You might have your own shape in mind. I'm just probably going to say that's okay. What I am going to do is probably rotate it a little bit backwards. And again, might need to look at some reference for this, so I might need to change it when we do the hair, but for now I'm going to say that's the ears done, except we've only got one ear, haven't we? So what we need to do, click on the ear, click on the wrench, add modifier, mirror modifier, and then we need to click the mirror object as the head, and that should, again, now I've got two ears, should be okay. And you can play around with the shape of them ears and make them better, but we've got the basics in. Right, let's do the nose. There are different ways of doing the nose. I'm probably going to choose, let's have a think. Let's just add a, let's do it with a cube. So we're going to get a cube, we're going to scale it down, and we're going to rotate it on the z-axis by 45 degrees so that it's pointing forward. You can use this and just guess, but typing R for rotate, Z because we're spinning it around the z-axis, and then the angle. I am going to do this one by eye though, because I don't know what angle I want it to be. So I want to rotate it around this red axis. So I'm going to press X to I'm going to press RX. So select it, RX, and that will constrain it to that axis. And I'm probably going to just do something like that. So the idea, what I'm trying to do, and this might look a bit weird, is when we put the that in there, we get some type of triangular nose sticking out as we move it back. So what we'll probably need to do is scale this cube down quite a bit, and then we'll pop that in there, and we'll get a bit of a nose. I'm wondering actually, have I just done that upside down? So if that's the case, I want to spin it around this green axis. So I'm going to press RY 180. There we go. That does actually look better. There's no right or wrong with this. And then the other thing you could do, I guess you could look at that vertex and you could move the vertex down to create some type of different shape. I'm probably going to leave it like that. I'm going to press 1 and I've gone into face select mode, and I'm just going to make sure I've got that object selected. So make sure I'm in object mode, press 1, and I'm just going to move the nose. I'm looking here, my axis is not in the middle, but I can just see the edge of the nose here. So I think something like that will be fine. For now, it's fine. You could put more detail in this nose, it's not a problem. And the other thing is, let's just hide the head. And this is a good time actually to start labeling your character. So I'm just going to do head, and I'm going to hide it. I probably won't need, if I go into, let me hide the, if I do, I'll just call this picture, pick. I'm going to hide that. So hide the picture. I probably don't need, so I'm going to press 3 for face mode. I probably don't need these back 3 faces at all. I only need the front. Yeah, so I'm going to X, delete faces. I'm just deleting the back of the nose. And you could actually go in here and tidy up this nose and make it a much better shape. You could add a modifier, subdivision modifier. Let's just try it. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier, and you could actually create a rounded nose if you wanted to. I might play about with the nose later on. Let's just bring the head back, and you know, you might think, oh, that's a lot better. Let's bring the nose out. You know, that might be much better what you're going for. I'm going to leave mine like this, so if you want to get rid of the modifier, you can just delete it. So we've got the subdivision surface modifier. I'm just going to delete the modifier. So that's up to you how you want to do the nose. I'm going to leave mine like that for now, but I might change it later on if it doesn't suit the character, if it looks a bit pointy. We could do some modelling on the nose, but for now it's just in place and it's done. So click on the nose, rename that nose. Got caps lock on, nose. I'm going to click on this eye, and this will be eye. It's got a mirror modifier on, so we don't need to do the other eye. And this one is ear. And that'll just help us keep track of all the parts. So in this video we've done the oh, we haven't finished. We've got the eyebrow to do. Got a bit carried away there. Let's do the eyebrows before I forget. So we'll use a similar technique to the ears. Make sure you're in object mode. Clicked over everything. We're going to add a mesh, a plane. We'll bring it to the front. We're going to do R to rotate along the x-axis by 90 degrees. You can do this manually, but it is the best way. We're then going to scale it, probably quite far down. Let's move it nearer to the head. And then I'm going to press 1, and I'm going to go into X-ray mode, and then I'm going to move near the eyebrow. I'm holding shift and mouse wheel to drag the canvas. You don't want to rotate it out of view. So we're going to click on the this is where having them labelled helps. So I'm just going to label that. We'll call it eyebrow. I'm on a different keyboard again. Okay, eyebrow. So if we lose selection, so let's say we've selected off of it and we can't click on it because it's behind something, we can click up here now and select it. So press S to scale, or use the scale tool. Now I want it to sort of follow along here, so I'm going to click into rotate mode, and I'm going to use the green axis. I'm just going to rotate it so it's sort of pointing in the right direction. Don't worry too much about the size yet. We're going to add a modifier to it later. I'm then going to go into selecting the eyebrow, make sure the eyebrow is selected. Tab to go into edit mode, 2 to go into edge mode, and then E to extrude, and S to scale. So I know I'm going quite quick, but what I'm doing is all the commands we've looked at. So E to extrude, S to scale. I'm going to press R to rotate, E to extrude, S to scale, R to rotate, E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale. They're things just to practice and have a go at, because when you're modelling, you don't want to be clicking up here all the time. You just want the workflow to be nice and simple. You want to be sort of getting into the flow of creating something rather than being bogged down by the UI. So that's why there's so many shortcuts. Okay, we've got the eyebrow, and you might just need to pause the video and go through that a little bit slower, but you've got the idea. We've got a shape, we're pulling out, extruding an edge, rotating it, extruding it. You can modify this, you know, the individual vertices if you like. If you're not happy with the shape, you can go into vertex mode, and in this front view, we could use the white circle just to pull it around. So you can just modify it whatever you want. Now, I wouldn't do too much at this stage because we're going to now add some thickness and a subdivision surface to this, and it will change the shape of it. So select these 4 polygons with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polygons. Can't count. Select the polygons of your shape. You might have more or less. There's no rules. E to extrude, and let's give the eyebrow some thickness like we did with the ear. We'll then add a modifier with the wrench, and we'll add a subdivision surface modifier. It's on 1 subdivision, and I don't mind how that looks. It's just an eyebrow. 2 if you really want to. Yeah, I'll probably go for 1. No, 2. It's up to you. We can change that at any point, and then put your eyebrow in. Now obviously, because of the curvature of the face, it's not right, and there are a few ways of dealing with this. So we could rotate it on the blue axis. It's still not quite right, so let's look at alternative ways. So in edit mode, we could start selecting these edge loops and faces and pulling them back. So I'll show you how to do that. So I want to select all this loop going round. Now there's an easy way to do that. If you hold Alt and click on a line, make sure you're in line mode, it will select the edge loop, and we can literally just pull that edge loop back. Again here, Alt, click on the edge loop, pull it back, and then probably the last one we can just use the face, and we can click on there. And you can use this technique to give it a bit of form as well. If you want it to come out, you know, you could actually give it some volume as well if you want. So I'm going to leave mine like that. You see how it's really large, and that's because we're in perspective mode, and the camera is causing distortion. If we press 1, we'll see how it really is. So I mean, that's fine. You could again play about with that forever and a day. Next thing, add modifier, mirror modifier, and then mirror object is the face, and we're there. We're getting there. We've got a face. When we get the textures on and stuff, it will start to look better. I probably will change this nose. I don't like how pointed it is compared with everything else, so we might put a subdivision surface modifier on that. I think it'll look better. Okay, so that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll tackle the upper body, and then we'll probably do the legs, the feet, the arms, and then after you've had a good practice at all that stuff, we'll tackle the hands. Okay, I shall see you later.